The main focus of our project is very much about connecting people to land, and through that we have developed a tool called Food Mapper, which you're going to hear more about later. We are looking at setting up a tool bank where we'll have tools such as apple presses, which can be used across the county of Somerset, and we will be looking at developing a skill sharing network which will be linked to our website. We also have conferences, and we have regular conferences in the spring and the autumn, and this is very much about getting those people together that have an interest in growing and eating locally produced food in Somerset.
Food Mapper is a digital mapping tool that's been developed as part of Project Somerset Land and Food. We've got 5 main aims with the project, and key amongst those is bringing new land into production. So we're going to be working with people who want to get growing across Somerset to access growing space where they can learn to grow, swap skills between mentors and people just starting. As part of this project, we've needed to map the existing growing spaces in the county to begin to find out where demand for land is outstripping supply. And we began our mapping project with a paper map with post-its on, and we soon found that we needed, well, first of all, a much bigger map and also a way that we could record key information about parcels of land, who owns those allotments, the waiting lists on them, contact details. But our prime concern has been with mapping land parcels, and that. So to date, we've managed to map in the region of 130 growing spaces in Somerset, majority of those allotments. This is our new digital tool that we've created with our partners GeoFutures, South West Food and Drink, the Department of Health for South West, and some local action for rural community schemes in our county. This tool enables us to map growing spaces, many of which so far mapped have been allotments. So you'll see that it opens with a southwest view. So what I'm going to do now is map the allotments in a village in the east of the county called Penselwood. Here I put the name of the community in the search box and press go. Now, I'm aware that there are some allotments here. This patch of land here is allotments that are about a year old. So if you would like to map land, once you've registered and you've been sent your confirmation message, you should be able to log in, and you do need to zoom in close enough to be able to add a land parcel.
Overall, the aim of Food Mapper is to get individuals out there and identifying pieces of land in their area, or indeed allotments that they're involved with, community orchards they're involved with, and for them to plot their own community orchard, allotment, community garden, animal food co-op on the Food Mapper. And certainly as the project develops and as we progress through the next 2 years, we're very much hoping that as people hear more and more about Food Mapper and see the wealth of information that we're capturing, that they will go on and map their own pieces of land or pieces of land in their village, their town and their community. Food Mapper is very much open source, so it's about getting it out there to the community of Somerset and saying, hey, this is your tool, let's get mapping, let's get all those parcels of land mapped. To map a parcel of land in itself doesn't take too long if you have the local knowledge, because you'll have all the information that we ask for. And anybody can register on Food Mapper to map a parcel of land.
Why it's important to map growing spaces is that increasingly, as our world changes, as population grows, and perhaps we need to think about becoming much more producers of some of our own needs, and that's definitely going to include food. It's a real way for people to kind of land in a place and get integrated, and Italians and Polish and other immigrants from Eastern Europe have brought growing skills. I know people from Russia who are involved in a new allotment that started in Langport, and they are kind of one of the driving forces behind it. There are other food networks in the southwest that will be using FoodMapper. They include Growing Collaboration in Cornwall, which is hosted at the Eden Project, and also Homegrown Community Owned, which is a sister project in Devon, located with the Rural Community Council. So both Cornwall and Devon are set to use FoodMapper. So there's every possibility, and negotiations are ongoing with Bristol City Council, who are extremely keen to map growing spaces in Bristol.
I think at the heart of everything we do is very much around sustainability. So when we look at things like establishing a tool bank or a skill sharing network, we're constantly thinking, how can this continue beyond the life of our project? How do we make sure we leave a legacy?
There's lots of different ways to get involved with FoodMapper. You may have a school growing project, you might have a workplace growing project, you might be involved with a church group that is that has allotments. We would like to hear from any growing projects in the county. We'd love you to come and get on the map. We'd like to come and visit you, see what you're doing. We'd like to develop case studies that we can promote through the website. So please, if you're involved with community growing, please do get in touch with Somerset Land and Food.